Hey yo, how's it going? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile on Post-Nerf MLB. And I know what you're saying, oh, MLB, yeah, that's trash right now. Wingle Brave just got nerfed, the whole deck doesn't work. And I'm here to say it's not the case. I still think that it's a very strong deck. I do feel like a lot of Japanese, tier lists overrated. Still putting it at tier 1, I think it's too much. But it is definitely still a force to be reckoned with. And today I will be talking about my list for MLB post-nerf. So here we can see the starter. Obviously we're playing Liberal instead of Wingle Brave now. Liberal is your generic Counterblast 1, checks out 5 for a grade 3. Now this card is especially great in Royals because of the grade 3 lineup. We have 4 Majesty Lord Blasters, which is your main right target. We have 2 King of Knights, which is still a flexible choice. Not only is it a decent Vanguard backup ride, but it can also fetch for anything grade 2 or below with Counterblast 3. We have 4 Gan slots. Even if you choose to add this to your hand, you can still put it back to get a Blaster Blade. Getting a retire skill, getting a combo piece, putting back a heal. It's just so many advantages to this card, pros, and definitely important to play 4 of. And lastly, 3 Palamades. Palamades isn't as strong because, cross rights aren't as prevalent right now. I feel like a lot of people have moved on from, playing the end or, playing PBO. But, they are still in the meta, and 13k with, a 7k or 8k boost does help hit 20 or 21k columns, which is definitely devastating when attacking your opponent, especially in the mid to late game. Let's talk about the grade 1 lineup. 4 PGs, pretty straightforward. 4 Lians, of course, you value consistency much more importantly right now. And even in the previous MLB Advanced video, my list did include Lian. And I do think that it's very important to play 4 of. The interesting thing I did right now is I play 4 Ks and 1 Miru. Now 4 Ks instead of the 4 AK Marons is because, well, while the AK boost is important, the AK can't usually hit your opponent's rear guards by itself. And the AK boost does help hit cross-run numbers and stuff, but the 7k does enough for that role. And especially in the mid to late game, MLB isn't that good at generating card advantage, and every single unit needs to count. And so I'd rather have a 7k booster that can be a 10k attacker rather than an 8k booster that can't hit anything by itself as an 8k. Lastly, we pay Miruburu because while its attack line is low at 6k, its skill is when this unit boosted hits, discard a card and draw 1. This card is similar to Lian. It's like a hybrid. It's like your Flame of something Airmo. And this card, I think is important to play right now because again, you value the consistency factor so much more because Wingle Brave is nerfed and you don't play it anymore. And cycling through a lot of deck cards in this deck is very important, especially in your early and mid game. Even late game, when you need to search for your PGs and stuff, definitely important to play. 4 Blaster Blades, 4 Blaster Darks, and 4 Trumpeters I think is pretty standard right now. The 8 Blasters you always played. The 4 Trumpeter you play again because consistency is so important. Counterblast 2 to search a blaster, grade 2 or less blaster, especially since your starter cannot search Blaster Dark anymore. It's just so important, and you can no longer afford to play 2 of or 3 of this anymore. And the last grade 2 slot is honestly a really flexible slot. I see a lot of people play Galatine. I play Bedivere still because 9+3 can still hit 10k, 11k, 12k Vanguards by itself. And with any of the grade 1 boosters here, even the 6k boost, you can still hit 18k, and that is definitely still hitting cross-run numbers post 1 damage. Exactly. So I guess without further ado, let's bring this deck into a game and see how it works in game. If this is the first time you've seen Vanguard Zero, post-nerf MLB, here's a really fun fact. My channel actually started by doing an MLB Advanced video. For the OGs, comment down below and reminisce Entropy 2 months ago. But yeah, definitely still check out that video. A lot of the basic stuff about this deck's, core, consistency, crit pressure, why I'm playing Alfred instead of Alfred early. A lot of that stuff is still valuable, I think, and you can still check that out. If you are a new player, you can go and look back into the past and see how the game used to, form. The meta did definitely used to resolve around MLB only, and holy This is an amazing hand. Okay, I don't think we have to mulligan anything. We have our first right target with Lian, we have our second right target with Trumpeter, and then we ride Majesty Lord Blaster. We do the combo, and then we win the game. This is you know, peak entropy level luck. So we're playing against Shadow Paladin, and if you're familiar with the anime, the Shadow Paladin is the antagonist clan for the first season. And you know, in canon, the main protagonist who used the Royal Paladin MLB did win this match. So let's not disappoint. We put the Liberal behind the Vanguard because our next right target's an 8K. And you know, if I decide to search for a 9K with Ganslot, you know, it's still 13K, and you know, you might need it to hit numbers. Let's see what I want to do. Do I want to use Lian here? Probably not. I think we're good. So yeah, you know, even if you keep the Liberal into the late game, you know, having your MLB at 12K with a 4K booster, that's still 16, and that is still pretty effective at punishing, you know, 10K or 11K Vanguards. Here, because I did not tap with Lian, you know, use its skill to rest and discard one, draw one, I'm basically signaling to my opponent that my hand is full of extremely valuable cards, and you know, I generally already have all my pieces, so that's something to note. You know, a lot of skills, you know, if you choose to activate or not, does tell your opponent that either A, you're a noob and you don't know what you're doing, or B, you know, there is a reason why you're not doing it, and that's mainly because you already have all your pieces in this case, which is true. So my opponent's playing Phantom Bringer Dragon. Unfortunately, did not hit the you know, Blaster Javelin. If you haven't seen my PBD list, PBD is my main, so do check out that video. But anyways, here I might choose to ride the Blaster Blade because I have, you know, 2 Gan slots here that I can use anytime. I am going to use one of the Gan slots because I am at a damage disadvantage and I wouldn't mind hitting a heal right here. Do I want to use the Liberal? I don't think so. I don't think so because, well, my opponent missed the ride chain, so the chances of having a Blaster Dark is lower, and so even if they ride PBD that's a 10K instead of 11K, there's a higher chance of being a 10K instead of 11K, and if they ride the PBO, that's a higher chance of being a 11K instead of a 10K, instead of a 13K. So the 16K base column with the MLB is extremely valuable, and I do think it's more important than you know, saving it for later. I might call out the is that too greedy? I might use this as well, and then call out I should go faster, go faster, go faster, go faster. Battle. So because my opponent's a 6K base Vanguard, I'm going to punish that. My 13K column can hit it, and that's good, you know, PG, that's music to my ears. Alright, what do we get? That's K. Alright. Heal, okay. So it seems like our opponent's not playing a complete PBD PBO deck, unfortunately. Or, you know, just not, you know, as refined, because, you know, our opponent's playing 4 or Dictator on heal, you know, playing the Skullface, the Mega Blast unit. Not the best units, but, you know, to each their own, I guess. Blaster Dark is, you know, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Moonlight Witch Vaha. Generally, you don't play this card. Camelot's 2 to draw 1. In a deck that has the main, is too overcosted. Just play for the main, if you can. Javelin, probably just 2 javelins. You can see that because the javelin did not trigger thinking, it means that our opponent doesn't actually have a grade 3 and is grade 2 right now. So I will definitely take advantage of this and punish my opponent in the next turn. Disconnected, probably rage quitting. Please don't rage quit. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these kind of like little signals, you know, it seems too like crazy or, you know, insane to pay attention to, but information is what determines, you know, a win or loss in my book, right? Like if you can take advantage of these little small tidbits of information, and it can really change the way you play, how you set up, and proceed with the match. If you choose to ignore it, you know, be careful, because definitely, you know, you're just not taking advantage of something that's already there. But that's up to you, I guess. So, is my opponent really rage quitting? Damn. I'm seriously considering recording it, but it's already getting quite late. And that's a bit too tedious. So here, I guess we're gonna still use our Gans slot with 1 damage to 1 damage. You know, the heal trigger is still active. I guess our opponent's not playing anymore, but I will still try to give a few tips and tricks here. So stick around if you would like to learn more, I suppose. So because I don't have a PG and I honestly just want to flex my blaster blade, I called it out here. And you know, some people are like, oh, you know, when do you choose to set up 2 intercepts in the front row, and when do you choose to just leave it and like suck up your front row? Generally speaking, if you're at low damage, I just leave my front row open. You know. But if you're against a crit pressure deck and you don't have PGs, I would be more wary of that situation, and I'd still put, you know, 1 or 2 intercepts in front, especially if you have the hand to do it anyways. You know, just do it. Better safe than sorry sometimes. But in this case, it could have been a misplay if my opponent's actually playing. You know, it really depends in the situation. So one thing that's different from Zero and the TCG is that, you know, if you search top 5 for Libergal in the TCG, you can just declare that I don't have a grade 3, even if you do, and you know, you can just put it back in shuffle. In Zero, it doesn't. It forces you to add it to your hand. So if it's not, you know, a Paladin or something, I might consider not adding it to my hand in the TCG. But right now, you are forced to draw into it, so that is a negative. But still, you know, game design choice, automating decisions. You know, there are pros and cons, but anyways, there it is. You know, this deck is still very consistent, especially if you're lucky. As you can see from the game just now, you know, if you just start with the perfect combo hand, you know, it's still such a strong deck. You know, you just overwhelm your opponent with crit pressure, and the 22k can definitely hit over damage triggers and stuff. So still very, very strong deck. While we did not get a full game through, you know, something that, you know, you should be aware of is the signals during a game. You know, for example, okay, our opponent is, you know, called the javelin and there was no thinking sign. This means that my opponent does not have a grade 3, and henceforth my opponent has to dig deep for it by using the main and stuff. Or that's why my opponent rage quit and you know, left entropy with a boring gameplay video. So I guess that's, you know, fair you know, guesses, I'd say, and whether or not you choose to do that, you know, to work and play at that level, it's definitely up to you, you know. But I personally find it more entertaining if I do take some time to think about your plays, think about your opponent's plays, and also, you know, how the game works itself. Anyways, that's basically the spirit of entropy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you did. Please like the video if you did. And please dislike the video if you didn't. But yeah, even if you like or dislike the video, subscribe, you know, and do follow the channel. If you have any suggestions, let me know down below. I am, you know, working on a lot of stuff lately, so not a lot of lecture-based content, but I am trying to do more variety stuff, you know, talking about the CCG, talking about, you know, some other types of games, perhaps. But let me know if that's something you are interested in. If you're not, also let me know. But yeah, I guess that's it for today. Hope you enjoy, and, you know, hope everyone wins some games. Bye.